So in the last session or the sessions before that, we were discussing about data visualization. Right? So in data visualization, we talked about types of data visualization. Then we talked about big data, the challenges to big data visualization. What are the different steps for data visualization we have seen, right? Those about 8 to 9 steps we talked about. And then again, what is data visualization and why it is used? And we have talked about tools also. In that case, we have seen an example related to Microsoft Excel, right? Microsoft Excel, we have seen simple example we tried to see, and the same example we tried to see with the help of Tableau. So in that case, I told you that if you are interested, just let me know if you want to work in Tableau, right? I will be sharing the complete documentation also, right? Whatever is required for this. So yes, these two tools we have seen. We have tried to even do some hands-on things on Tableau. That's what we have seen in the last few of the sessions. And yesterday we talked about types and different charts which are available for visualization. Right now, let's. So what we have seen till now. So what we have understood actually. So now till this point, one should be clear about data visualization, right? So when we started our discussion, or in last few sessions, we have seen the meaning of data visualization. We try to understand it with the help of some examples. We try to understand it with the help of some hands-on things, right? So we have seen that data visualization is the graphical representation of information and data. So in simple words, this is how one can define data visualization. It is just the graphical representation of information and data. And what is information and what is data? We already talked about it. Data is nothing but the raw material and information is processed data. So by using visual elements like charts, graphs, and maps, data visualization tools actually provide an accessible way to see and understand the trends, or to identify the outliers, or maybe I can say to identify patterns in the data. And identifying the patterns in the data is very important, and that's where you are going to need this data visualization. Right now, why is it so important? Why data visualization is so important? Right now, I told you about definition. That means what is data visualization, but why? Why is it so important? So, data visualization actually gives us a clear idea of what the information means by giving it some visual context through maps or graphs or charts, right? Which makes the data more natural for human mind to comprehend, and therefore makes it easier to identify trends, patterns, and outliers within large data sets. Right? So this is the reason actually why data visualization is actually needed. So to identify trends, to identify patterns, to identify outliers within large data sets. That's where data visualization is going to be handy. As I talked about Excel, right? So I have even shown you an example with the help of Excel, right? Where we have actually tried to make use of a demographic file where we were having some Excel data, right? So there might be a question many people generally most of the time they have common question actually. So is Microsoft Excel a data visualization tool? See, as a data visualization tool, if you talk about tool, yes, Tableau is a data visualization tool. You can say, right? As per your syllabus, they have mentioned one data visualization tool. But again, there are other data visualization tools also. For example, there is something called as Microsoft Power BI. So this is a product of Microsoft, and so on. There are other data visualization tools as well. Now, many times people they have common question that whether this Excel is also a data visualization tool. So just to discuss about that. So just as Excel can perform basic data analysis or basic data analysis functions, it is actually it has a surpassing number of data visualization tools under the hood. Right? Actually, Excel isn't explicitly a data visualization tool. It's actually a spreadsheet. I can say, right? But because of its flexibility, you will see that there are a lot of features which are added to Excel, and that's why yes, Excel can also be used for data visualization. Explicitly, if you think about it, if you just go and try to see when it's developed, you will see that it is just a spreadsheet, right? But because of the flexibility of an Excel, right, or we can say the functions available, methods available there, yes, definitely it can be used in data visualization, right? And one of Excel's strength is, I can say, flexibility, and maybe that might be the reason that many people call it as a visualization tool also, as it's really flexible, right? So that is one thing we can actually take out from the discussion whatever we have done till now, right? And again, yesterday we talked about different types of visualizations, right? For example, column chart, bar chart, or bar graph, you can say stacked bar graph, line graph is there. There is something like dual axis chart, pie chart, scatter plot, box plot, and so on, right? So that is about what you can say. That is what why about data visualization, right? And there might be how. So you might be having question how data visualization can be used. So yes, it can be used with the help of some tools. It can be used maybe, for example, Python. Right? Today we will talk about some package which is called as Seaborn. Again, for many of you, this you might be familiar with this one, Seaborn package. So, but yes, if I want to answer how is the data visualization used, so yes, there can be tools, there can be different techniques with the help of which you can make use of data visualization. For example, data visualization helps to tell stories by curating the time to a form which is easier to understand, right? Or highlighting the trends and outlines. A good visualization tells a story, removing the noise from the data and highlighting the useful information. So effective data visualization is a delicate balancing act between form and action, I can say. So it all depends on which type of tool you use, how much you are familiar with the data, and all those things. Those things are going to matter whenever we talk about data visualization, right? And many times you might come across different types of data visualization. So you might have come across something called as exploration. Exploration is the word generally will come across whenever we talk about data visualization. It is like which helps find a story the data is telling you. And there is one more word whenever we talk about data visualization, and that is the thing with explanation. Explanation is like which tells the story to audience. So both these types of data visualization must take into account the audience's expectations. So many times you will see people saying that these are the two types of data visualization, right? So as I told you, this one exploitation is nothing but what which helps find a story in the data. So the story the data is actually trying to tell, and explanation is nothing but what which tells the story to an audience. I can say. That's what exploration and explanation is. Now this is what we talked about: what, why, how about data visualization. So again, if I want to tell you why is data visualization important, because of the way the human brain processes information using charts or graphs to visualize a large amount of complex data, and which is easier than pouring over spreadsheets or reports. So data visualization can also identify areas that need attention or improvement. So these are some of the reasons why data visualization is actually necessary. So with all those things, let's try to see some of the charts. Let's try to plot some of the charts, and let's try to understand one simple package here which is available in Python itself. I am going to continue with the Python itself because in your syllabus they have mentioned Python at the start, right? So we will just try to continue with that. But yeah, remember that it's not like that. It is Python only with the help of which you can do data visualization. You can make use of some other language like R also, or even you can go and you can use tools also, right? But yes, Python has some methods. Python has a package. For example, let's try to see this Seaborn package here. So here I will try to plot basic plots. We will try to understand them. We will try to interpret from those charts. We will try to understand the data itself. We will try to look at the data in different angles with the help of those charts. So as I told you, I'll be talking about all these plots. Here I will just tell you why these plots are needed, how they are going to help us to create the models, or why data visualization is actually important. Right. So you might remember when we started with basics of machine learning, right? At that time I told you that always remember whenever we are trying to create a model, so one should always make sure that the data which we are going to pass to some algorithm, machine learning algorithm, that data should be in numeric format. That is one thing. And another thing is that that data should be in normally distributed format, right? So how are you going to come to know that whether it's in numeric or not, whether it's normally distributed or not? right, or symmetrical or not. So distribution is going to help you, or we can say this visualization is going to help you, right? So let me go and let me let me import this particular package Seaborn. As usual, as we have already seen some other packages, right? So same way I am going to import this Seaborn with the help of import command, and let's try to see some of the graphs here, some of the plots here. So import Seaborn as SNS. So here we will just try to see the graph and we will try to interpret it. Interpretation is very, very important. Plotting, obviously, the tool or the language is going to take care of plotting a particular chart or the graph. But yes, obviously, interpretation is going to play very, very important because language anyone can understand. But interpreting the data, understanding the data is very, very important because if you do not understand the data, right, it is of no use. That is nothing, that is not going to help, right? So here I'm trying to do what? Now SNS is the name which we have given. It's alias we have given for C1 actually. And with the help of same thing, actually, I'm just trying to load. So what I'll be doing is SNS dot load underscore dataset. So I think I told you yesterday that there are some ready-made datasets which are available in case of C1. So how to load those datasets? So with the help of SNS dot. So with the help of name of the package and dot, and then you will have to do the name of the dataset. So there is a dataset with the name tips which is present in C1 package. So I'm just trying to load that particular dataset like this. SNS dot load underscore data. If I go and if I try to run it, now this dataset is loaded here. If I try to show you here, you'll be able to see this dataset is there. So total bill, tip, sex, smoker, date, time, and size. So this is about the restaurant. People visiting the restaurant. So, for example, two people came to the restaurant at the time of dinner, right, on Sunday, and there was no smoker from them. Gender was female. This is the tip they have given $1.01, and this is the total bill generated when they visited the restaurant. So you can see that we have here about 244 rows and 7 columns in our data. Right. Now I will just try to write it down like this so that at least we will be able to see the names of the variables or the columns. So these are the columns. Head command you already know. Head command by default choose you first 5 rows only, and that's what we are able to see. So you can see that out of all these columns, this total bill is a continuous column. Right? Values are like this: number and continuous, 16.99, 10.31, and so on. Tip is also continuous. Sex column is actually categorical, male or female. Smoker is a categorical, yes or no. Day is again categorical. Sunday, Monday, Thursday. I think Friday is also there. Wednesday. So yes, it's categorical. Time, lunch and dinner. Size again, people may come as one or two or in a group or as a couple, 4 people, 3 people, 6 people, and so on. I think the highest value in case of size is 6. Let us see. Let's try to see that. So you can check that we have some categorical data and some numerical and continuous data. So I want to say that visualization also depends on type of a data which is available. Right. For example, if you are trying to do some operation where you are going to require numbers, obviously you should be able to choose a particular respective chart or a graph, right? That's what I actually want you to understand actually. Let's see one by one. So there is something called as dist plot. Dist plot stands for distribution plot. Let me tell you why this distribution plot is actually necessary. Distribution plot is going to help you to do the distribution of your data. Why it is necessary to know the distribution of the data? Because as I told you, suppose when you are going to create machine learning models, so before passing your data as a training data to some machine learning algorithm or machine learning technique, you need to make sure that your data should be symmetrically distributed, or it should be in the standard normal distribution format. So this distribution plot is going to help you to understand that whether it's having a bell-shaped curve or not. Bell-shaped curve is nothing but normal distribution, right? And yes, talking about our data, so our data set is name is tips. Now, if I want to understand what is this tips is, I can go and I can check it with the help of type command. So we can say that it's a data frame. Now, you people are already very much aware about data frame, right? Data frame is a collection of series. It's like a table, right? So we can apply all the operations on tips, whatever we can apply on data frame. So suppose here tips, now in case of tips we have different columns. So if I go here, if I issue tips.columns, I will be able to see the names of all the columns, right? So I want to fetch this particular column, total bill. So what I will do is I will go here, I will copy it, and tips of, I will just try to index it. Indexing, you are again aware about that. If I go and if I try to show tips of total column, total bill, I'll be able to see all the rows from total bill. Now, what we want to do, we want to plot a distribution plot for it. So what I will do is SNS dot dist plot. Dist plot is the command to plot the distribution plot. For which values? For all the values from the total bill column. So if I go and if I try to run this, here I'll be able to see the distribution plot. Right? Now you can check. This is how total bill is actually distributed. So remember, as I told you, normalization or normally distributed data always have bell-shaped curve like this. This is normally distributed data, right? It means what? If you go and if you try to draw a line like this, and if you try to divide it into two equal parts, both the parts should be equal. This is actually normally distributed data, and that's a basic requirement for any machine learning technique. So if I have something like this, this is not normally distributed data. Or maybe if I have something like this, right? This is again not normally distributed data. So there is some skewness in this data. For example, there is skewness here. There is skewness here. In our case also, you will see that there is some skewness. It's not completely, it cannot be completely divided into two equal parts. There is some skewness. So actually, this is a skewness. I can call it as skewness. And this data, which I am able to see, it is rightly skewed data. Or we can say positively skewed data, right? Rightly skewed or positively skewed. So we do not want skewness in the data. We actually want a bell-shaped curve, a proper bell-shaped curve, and that data we call it as normalized data or standard normal distributed data, right? So just to make sure that how our data is distributed, we can make use of this distribution plot in the visualization. This is a simple visualization we can find out. So from this visualization, what we can understand? We can understand that, okay, my data looks good, fair enough, but not that much. There is some skewness present in my data. So if possible, I can go and I can check out for missing values, I can check for zero values, and then I will try to remove this skewness so that my data should be normally distributed. And one more point you can notice is that on x-axis we have total bill, right? And on y-axis is nothing but the frequency. Right? For example, you can see from this particular distribution, normal distribution, what you can say distributed plot, you can see that the people who generated the bill between 10 and 20, their count is maximum as compared to other people. That means most of the people who are visiting the restaurant, most of them they are generating the bill between 10 and 20. Most of them. There are very few people who generate the bill maybe more than 50 or between 40 and 50 like this. That means people prefer this amount. Most of them they generate this amount, right? So these are some of the things which you can actually understand with the help of that particular distribution. Let's go further and let's try to see other things. So here there are different options actually. With the help of Python, we have a lot of options available. For example, let me show it to you. This what we have done here is we just directly plotted the graph. So what I can do is I can go further and I can just explore it more. For example, there is something called as KDE, kernel density estimation. So if I go and if I try to make KDE as false, I'll be able to see the same graph, but I will not be able to see this particular curve or kernel density estimation at line. So I'll be able to see only the beans. These are the beans. These are called as beans. If I want to go and if I want to decrease the number of beans, yes, I can do that. Beans is equal to, or maybe I will write it down separately so that you will understand the difference here. So here, if I go and if I try to write down something called as beans, or let me make it as beans is equal to suppose 10 and run it, it should be BINS. Now see, you'll be able to see something like this. If I go and if I try to increase the number of beans, suppose let me make it as 100, and you'll be able to see something like this. That means it's going to draw this particular vertical bar for each and every value almost. In our case, how many number of records we have? So we have 224, right? So what I will do is I will write down this equal to 224, and now you will see that same graph we are able to see like this. That means each and every value it is actually trying to plot it. So in case of KDE, if I just remove this and then try to draw the graph, now you'll be able to see. Let me make KDE is equal to true, and let's see what will happen. Okay. Now see, you'll be able to see this particular line, right? So it is showing you the distribution. So here you can see that there is some skewness present in our data, and it looks like that our data is rightly skewed. This is nothing but what? This is nothing but a skewness present in it. And there are reasons for this. It might be because of the outlines. Now I hope you understand outlines. Or it might be because of some missing values present in our data set. Right? So these are some of the reasons which are possible reasons for skewness in the data. What if it is present? What we need to do is we need to remove this skewness, because at the end we are going to divide our data into training and testing, and then that training data should be normally distributed. Right? This is what we can do with the help of distribution plot. Let's try to talk about all these plots: scatter, regression, residual, KDE, and X. So while talking about types of data visualization, I told you that there are different types of plots which are possible, right? Even if you go for official pages of Matplotlib package and Seaborn package, you will see a lot of distributions which are available, right? Maybe at the end I will be talking about some of the plots. See, even you can go and you can have animations and the visualizations. Definitely. In case of Python, some of you might be knowing that there is a package like Cufflinks and Plotly. Pandas and Matplotlib and Seaborn, yes, obviously they are there. But there is something called as Cufflinks. This is also a package used for data visualization. And there is something called as Plotly. So with the help of this package, actually you can make your visualizations more interactive. For example, if I go and if I hover my mouse on some graph, it's going to show the numbers there itself, right? So all those things definitely you can do with the help of those packages, right? But generally we do not make use of those packages. We make use of Matplotlib and Seaborn only, because as there are some more features, so obviously it's going to take more time to load, right? In case of bigger data set. Let's try to talk about another plot, that is nothing but joint plot. So as it's a joint plot, you will see that earlier plot, distribution plot, in that case we were having only one variable, that is total bill. Here we have x and y, total bill and tip. So I want to understand the relationship between total bill and tip. So again here also I can make use of C1 package, and which is going to help me to visualize the data set. So SNS dot joint plot, right? So here x is equal to, I want to give total bill. So let me go and let me try to check the names of the columns which are present here. So these are the columns. I want total bill here. So on x-axis I want total bill, and suppose on y-axis I want tip. So I want to see the relationship between total bill and tip. Let's suppose I will be giving only these two arguments and let's do it. Okay, so it is saying could not interpret input equal to total bill. Input equal to total bill. Okay, it is not able to understand. Let's see. Okay, I need to give the data. Right. See, I am saying that on x-axis I want total bill, on y-axis I want pay, but I should give what is the data frame name. That's what I want to do. So data is equal to tips. And then let's try to run. Now you are able to see something like this. This is actually a joint plot. The email graph which you are able to see is what? It's a scatter plot. And always remember, by default, you are going to see scatter plot. So let's try to understand. This is a joint plot. Why it is called a joint plot? Because here we are able to see two plots at there. Let's first of all interpret one of them. Let's see here. You can check on x-axis what do we have? On x-axis we have total bill. On y-axis we have tip. Now just to understand the relationship between total bill and tip, we can say that as and when total bill increase, you can see, right? As and when total will increase, tip also increase. So and you can see that most of the people, they have generated the bill between 10 and 20. Most of the values are between 10 and 20. But yes, talking about the relationship between total bill and tip, what we can notice is that if total bill increase, tip also going to increase. That means more or less the relationship between them is somewhat like this, and that is nothing but a linear relationship, right? And that's what true, right? That's what is true actually. In real time also we also observe the same thing. The people who go and suppose Suppose you went to the restaurant, right? And suppose you are 10-20 people. Obviously, the amount of the bill which is going to be generated is more. In that case, there is a chance that that waiter is going to get some tip. So definitely, as and when the total bill is going to increase, tip is also going to increase, right? And talking about this particular graph, again, you can make use of this one also. Whatever you are able to see here, as it's a joint plot, this is a scatter plot, and one more is there, this one. So you can notice that you can take this as a tip and this one as a total bill. So you can see that between 2 and 4, you can check it between 2 and 4. I am talking about this particular graph, okay, this bar kind of a thing. So you can see that uh, 2 and 4, this is the range in which most of the time state has been given, or people give the tip like this between 2 hours or 4 hours most of the times, right? And talking about same graph on this side, again you can notice the same thing, that this is 10-20. So there are many people who generate the bill between 10 and 20, but between 10 and 20 most of them they are generated bill. Otherwise, scatter plot again is also sufficient way to understand about the relationship between the x and y, that is total bill and TPA. Okay, moving forward, that was a joint plot. So in case of joint plot, again you have different options. So kind is always by default scatter, but I can go and I can change this kind, right? So you can make use of different what you can say, instead of the markers you can make use of different designs actually. Let me show it to you. See, data is equal to this one. Now I am just going to add kind. So kind is equal to hex. If I do hexagon kind of a shape, you will be able to. So you will be able to see different shapes here. Same plot, same interpretation, but here you can see that earlier it was something like this. Now you will be able to see something like this. So how to interpret this? So you can see that all these are the hexagons, right? But here you can see that most of those hexagons are overlapping each other, and that's why these hexagons are darker in this area, for example. Again, that means what? That means most of the people they generate the bill in between 10 and 20. See, most of them. And these are faint in color. That means there are very few people who generate the bill between 40 and 50. Okay. So same thing, but it is just that we are actually making use of different shape here. So if you want to know which are the different kinds which are possible, so I can go here and I can show you what are the different kinds. So for kinds, there will be by default it's scatter. Always remember by default it's going to be scatter only. Let me see if there are some options available for kind. So let's see this in example they have given. See, kind is equal to KDE is also possible, right? So you can go and you can try out kind is equal to hex. We already use this. Let's see another example. So let me go here instead of this hex. Let me make it as KDE and let's see how it actually plots the graph. So KDE, I told you KDE stands for kernel density estimation. Let's run it. Now see, we'll be able to do something like this. So why this particular part is darker? Because this is the range in between which most of the people actually generate the total. So this is because of KDE, kernel density estimation. Okay. Let's move forward and yeah, regression is also there. Instead of that KDE, if I come here and if I try to talk about regression, so yes, I can make use of REG. But yes, remember that here we have a special plot for regression. See, you will be getting a line. I hope people remember line of best fit. So this is nothing but the line of best fit, right? Equation of straight line, we know y is equal to mx plus c. In case of linear regression, we already talked about line of best fit, all those things. So this particular thing, kind is equal to regression, right? It is going to even give you a line of best fit, which is going to help you to understand the nature of the relationship between the x and y. Now talking about one of the most important plots is nothing but pair plot. Pair plot is something which is going to give you a whole idea about complete data or complete idea about all the columns, or I can say the relationship of one column with all the other columns. But by default, it is going to work for numerical columns only. Remember, see, pair plot will plot pairwise relationship across entire data frame, but for numerical columns, right? But for categorical columns, it supports a color hue argument. We will see that. Okay. So SNS.pair plot. Let's try to make use of that for our data set. we know that we have this particular data set, right? Tips is the name of our data set. In tips, we have which columns? We have total bill, we have tip, then sex, smoker, daytime, and size. Out of all these things, if you check this total bill and tip, these are the numerical. And yes, size is also numerical. Now, if I go and if I try to show you one more visualization, that is as soon as a pair plot for tips data set, so by default it is going to consider only numerical data, only numerical column. It will not take this sex column or smoker column or day or time column into consideration by default. But yes, if you want to make use of that particular data, we can. So maybe for that we have some other arguments. You can see that this is nothing but pair plot. Now, what is pair plot? I told you, pair plot is going to help you to understand the relationship of every column opposite every other column. For example, in this case, you can see on x-axis. What do we have on x-axis? On x-axis, we have total bill, tip, and size. And the same thing we have on y-axis also. So, for example, I want to know what is the relationship between total bill and size. So, total bill on x-axis, size on y-axis. You can see the relationship between them. Relationship between tip and size. So, you can see the relationship. Relationship between size and size. So, you can see it. So, you take any column, right? And you can see how it is related to other columns. For example, I want to know what is the relationship between total bill, this particular column. Total bill I want to see with size or maybe with tip or maybe with total bill itself. You can see that this is what it is going to show. And always remember on diagonal it is going to have this kind of a graph by default. Okay, but yes, we can change that. Now here the thing is that yes, it is showing us a relationship. For example, suppose I want to know what is the relationship between total bill and tip, which we have already talked about, right? So total bill and tip. So this is the tip and this is the total bill. And when we try to plot the graph separately for total bill and tip, at that time we have also seen that this relationship is more or less linear only. So yes, as the total bill increases, there is a chance that tip is also going to increase, or as and when total bill increase, tip is also going to increase. So the point to note down here is that whatever you are able to see here, that is the relationship or the visualization of only numerical columns. What if I want to go and analyze about, I want to analyze the data in more detail with the help of categorical columns also. So I can make use of pair plot. See, sns.pairplot is the command. If I go and if I just try to plot it like this, I am getting this kind of a graph. But here I want to include categorical data. So there is something called as view. Now in our case, which are the categorical columns? So you can say whether it's sex or smoker or day or type or size. Let's see smoker. So I want to see the same information, but by taking into consideration whether the person is smoker or non-smoker. So what I will do is I will just write down Q is equal to smoker and then once again run. Now I'll be able to see the same visualization, but this time in more detail with the help of hue parameter. What I have done is I just written hue is equal to smoker. Now what it has given me, it has given me the same information. But for example, here if I check, I want to check what is the relationship between total bill and tip. I can see that total bill is here, tip is here, right? So yes, this is the relationship. But this particular visualization now is helping me to understand the same relationship in more detail. So for example, who generated the bill? Who was that? Was it a smoker or non-smoker? So you can see that orange is a smoker. So smoker people, they have generated more tip as compared to non-smoker, that is blue one. You can see that. And it seems that non-smokers are more who are visiting the restaurant as compared to smoker. More or less, yeah, there is a little bit of difference between them. But yes, that's what actually right now seems, right? So you can see that these orange markers are actually talking about non-smokers and these blue ones are talking about smokers, right? So one point we can notice that smokers are the people who are giving more tip. It has been seen that smokers are the people who give more tip as compared to non-smokers. And like this, again, you can actually interpret other aspects also, right? Similarly, see, here I have done it for Q is equal to smoker. But yes, it's not compulsory that only smoker should be there. You can go and you can check it on the basis of other categorical data. So suppose I want to know about which time people prefer, dinner or lunch. Right? So I will go and I will try to type like this, Q is equal to time. You can see that Time is lunch or dinner. Dinner is orange, so most of the people they prefer dinner time. That means the restaurant owner should focus on dinner time as compared to lunch time. This is what we can actually notice from this one, right? We can see total bill and tip. If you try to see the relationship, orange color is going to be more here, right? So you can see people prefer dinner time as compared to lunch time, right? And again, if I go and if I try to make use of some another hue parameter here. So I think male or female, if you want to check. So who is giving more bill? Who is generating more bill? You can see that it's male as compared to female. It's male who is generating more bill. That means male prefer more visiting the restaurant as compared to female. At least that's what we can understand from this particular visualization or pair plot, I can say. So like this, there are different options which are available for this pair plot command. For example, there is something called as palette. Palette is like a fancy thing. There of which you can go and you can change the colors and all those things. Let me give you some colors. And see again, this color thing is again very important part of visualization, right? In theory, we already talked about that. So there is something called as palette. So there are different types of palettes which are available. For example, there is let me check whether this set one works or not. Set one. If I go and if I check it, yeah. Now see this set one. Now the colors are changed. There is something called as food warm, and number of them they are available. Right? So that is just a fancy thing, I think. Okay. So that was a palette. Now talking about rough plot. What is a rough plot? Rough plot is simply what it does is it simply draws a line for each and every point from your data set. For example, see this one you are already aware about, right? Tips of total bill. Now what am I going to do is I am going to pass that tips of total bill as an input to rough plot. So rough plot is simply going to draw a line for that particular value in the total bill. So what do we have is we have tips of total bill. So total bill column we already seen. We have all the numerical data here. For this one, I am going to plot a rough plot. It is also going to give me a fair idea actually about how my data is, what you can say, distributed. So how it actually gives us, let's see. So sns.roughplot is the method, is the command. If I go and if I run it, I will be able to see something like this. Now, what is the meaning of rough plot? So try to understand. As I said, rough plot is simply going to draw lines like let's suppose this value is 5. So as and when it sees 5 in the total bill column, it is going to draw a line. Let's suppose this line is 10. So as and when it sees 10, it is going to draw a line again and again. That's why these lines are darker. Why these lines are darker? Because 10, the values between 10 and 20 are repeated most of the time. What do you mean by that in our case? It means that most of the people, they are giving the tips, they are giving they are generating the total bill in between 10 and 20. Most of them. There are very few people who are generating the bill more than 50 and between 40 and 50. Right? This is also giving you the same thing actually, this rough plot. So, or otherwise, see, if I go and if I try to plot a distribution plot for, and as well as rough plot for the same data, you will see that distribution plot is going to be something like this. Something like this. Right? Now, why the height is more here itself? Because this is the area where most of the values are repeated. That's why this is dark, and that's why this height is more as compared to other regions here. So one and the same thing. Either you go for this kind of a thing that is KDE, or you go for this line that is rough plot. Okay. One and the same thing. Interpretation is what is important here. Okay. So that's what rough plot is. Now here I have just tried to show you a relationship between KDE plot and rough plot, and that's why I plotted this set of graphs. So for each and every line, I tried to plot a KDE plot. This is what I got, and then I tried to plot one KDE plot and one rough plot here, and finally for our data set, we try to plot both of them like this. See, KDE plot as well as rough plot at the same time, just to show the relationship between them. Whatever I was trying to talk about right now. So see, you can check it. Wherever this one is darker in rough plot, darker lines are there. At that place only you will see height is more. One and the same. That means between 10 and 20 or between 10 to 25, these are the values in the total bill which are repeated again and again. Right? So most of the people they are generating total bill between 10 and 20 axes. At least that's what we can interpret from this particular visualization. And same you can do it for tip also. That's what you can do. Okay. or for that matter any numerical column we can take. Talking about this categorical plots, again that is also an important part of data visualization. So whatever we are trying to see here, we are trying to talk about here is all the different types of visualizations we are trying to understand. So under categorical plots, there are different types of visualizations which are available like factor plot, box plot, violin plot, strip plot, swan plot, bar plot, count plot. Even if there are a lot of names here, let me tell you, out of all these things, most of the times what we need is in machine learning data science is box plot and count plot and bar plot. So most of the times we need this 1, 2, and 3. Yes, obviously all the other plots are available there, but what I have seen is even in real time also box plot and bar plot and count plot. That's what we need again as compared to other plots. Okay, but anyway, let me try to show you this data set. We already imported it. Let's try to see bar plot. So you can see that in case of bar plot, we can provide x-axis, y-axis, and data equal to tips. The same with whatever we had in case of earlier graphs. The command is sns.bar. Right? If I go and if I try to show you output of bar plot, you'll be able to see something like this. Now, how you can interpret it? You can see that on x-axis we have sex column, male and female. On y-axis we have total bill. So it means that bar plot kind of a thing you can make use of for categorical data as well as numerical data. So male and female. What I can say from this one, I can say that male, the number of male visiting the restaurant is more as compared to number of female. That's what we can interpret from this particular bar plot. Right. Similarly, okay, let us import this numpy. We are going to find out standard deviation. We are going to use this particular thing to calculate the standard deviation. np.st is nothing but standard deviation. See, what do we have is sns.bar. Now sns.bar plot, what it has shown by default here, it has shown us number of male and number of female. But what if I want to compare them on the basis of some another aggregate value? Maybe on the basis of, not on the basis of their numbers, maybe I want to compare them on the basis of what you can say average value, right? So estimator I am trying to find out. So if I go here, if I place shift tab, you'll be able to see that by default the estimator is average. By default the estimator is average. So actually whatever you were able to see here, so it was not number of male and female actually. I should have said it like this. Whatever you are able to see as the output of this particular command, what it is showing you? It is showing you average total bill, average of the total bill generated by male and average total bill generated by female. So average total bill generated by male is this one, average total bill generated by female is this one. That means male prefer or male generate more average total bill as compared to female. That's what you can interpret from this one. Now, by default, the estimator is average or the mean. What if I want to compare them on the basis of standard deviation of the total bill? Yes, I can do that. So go here and just run it. You'll be able to see that this is the standard deviation near to 9 for male, and this is standard deviation maybe more than near to 8 for female. Right? So estimator, yes, you can go and you can change that estimator. So there are different values for estimator available. np dot, let me check something like sum is available or not. So yes, here this is going to show me how many number of male and how many number of female. So let me check it. Let me complete the bracket. Now see, this is telling me about the number I can say. So it means, see, what it has done is it is actually sum of the total. It has calculated the sum of the total bill generated by male and sum of the total bill generated by female. So you can see that the sum of the total bill generated by male is more as compared to the sum generated by female. Right? That's what you can interpret with the help of this particular bar plot. SNS.bar plot. It's simply a bar plot. Okay. So if I go here and if I try to do something like if we check whether this count is available, okay, count is not there. Maybe np dot sum we already seen. Let's see. You can compare it on the basis of anything, whatever you want, right? So whatever aggregate function, again, this is not going to be aggregate function. That's what maybe I can talk about max or mean. So let's compare the maximum total bill generated by female and maximum total bill generated by male. Let's say this one. Okay, let's check this. Now see, who generated the maximum total bill? Maximum total bill generated by male is 50 and maximum total bill generated by female is less than 50. Similarly, you can go and you can compare it on the basis of minimum total bill generated by male. I can see that minimum total bill generated by male is more than 7 and minimum total bill generated by female is less than 3. That's how you can compare. So yes, one thing is for sure that male prefer visiting the restaurant as compared to female. And similarly, there is something called as count plot. Always remember, count plot is going to be what? Count plot is simply going to give the count, right? So what are you doing? Essence of count plot, x is equal to sex, male and female, data equal to tips. So what it is going to do is it is going to talk about the count of male and female. So count of male is near to more than 150 actually, near to 160, and count of female is near about 8. We have seen that there are 244 people total. So count is directly going to give the count itself. The name itself actually suggests what is count. Then comes there is something called as box plot. Box plot is something very important. Okay, so maybe I think you people are aware about box plot. Let me explain you this. What is box plot? For this, one should know about percentile values. See, as soon as box plot, I am trying to plot a box plot between day and total bill here. So obviously data is from tips and palette. Just now I told you it's a fancy thing, just color. So X is day and Y is total bill. Let me plot the box plot. So once I plot the box plot, I am able to see something like this. On X-axis, I am able to see all the day values. So which are the possible day values according to our data set? So Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And this is nothing but a total bill. So box plot, you might be knowing that box plot, it looks like this. Okay, it has something like this and something like this, and there are some dot lines here. So you will need to understand what are all these things going to interpret. Okay guys, I will stop here. You people are sending your numbers. Okay, I hope you people are aware about all these things. No problem, send your numbers and names in the chat box. I will stop here. Okay, Mohit Purva, no problem. Yes sir, you can send it.